It absolutely fascinates me every time I hear a story like this. And I think to myself, how many of these have I thrown away as well? The winner of a 33 million rand Powerball jackpot has not come forward yet. The winning ticket at 33,670,044 rand 67 cents was bought in Spa in Alberton, Johannesburg. Last week, Ituba National Lottery urged the players to check their tickets and go to their nearest Ituba office to claim their prizes. It said that the tickets remain valid for up to 365 days from the date of the draw. The ticket will expire on the 11th of April next year. Go and collect your money. This winning ticket was bought at Spa in Alberton. So if you remember having been anywhere near Spa in Alberton and buying a lotto ticket for your Powerball, why don't you get yourself down to the why don't you search first, because I think that's the most difficult part, is actually locating Elo Tigiti Elo and trying to figure out if there's a possibility that you might actually be able to recover it. Who knows? And anyway, we look at these things and go, oh, why did I put that ticket in a certain place? Why couldn't I? Well, lessons for the future, I guess. Let's keep it moving. The director of the Helen Suzman Foundation, Nicole Fritz, and her family received threats on Twitter the day before the foundation's court action to stop the scrapping of Zimbabwean exemption permits. On the 10th of April, Twitter user Freeman Bengu wrote, "We are watching her and we know where she stays, her daughter and their closed office in Parktown. We will deal with her tomorrow." The HSF, along with the Zimbabwean Immigration Federation and Zimbabwean exemption permit holders, are challenging the court in a decision by the Department of Home Affairs to scrap the ZEP, which would affect more than 170,000 permit holders. The hearing started in the Pretoria High Court on the 11th of April. Fritz says that these threats are enormously disturbing and that those working in social justice and human rights should not experience such harassment. She says other litigants are also receiving threats. Global South against Xenophobia has called for the South African Police Service and the Human Rights Commission to act. In the statement, the GSAX and SAPS to protect Fritz for the duration of the court hearings or until the perpetrators are arrested and to investigate all the threats. KZN Emergency Medical Services spokesperson Robert McKenzie said paramedics treated 12 patients at the scene after a head-on collision between a motor vehicle and a minibus. At the stage from the scene indicate that tragically 2 people have sustained fatal injuries. Paramedics treated 12 patients at the scene and have transported them to hospitals. The patients who were injured, according to the paramedics, all sustained critical injuries. He said the circumstances resulting in the crash are not known at this stage and will be investigated by the police. That's bad. Carlota Prado shook her head in disbelief and her eyes filled with tears while she watched the image of her own assault. The 30-year-old contestant in the Big Brother Spain's Big Brother TV reality show was called into a private room to see images in which she was subjected to sexual abuse during the filming of the show in 2017. 6 years later, her ex-partner and former contestant on the show, Jose Maria Lopez, has been sentenced to 15 months in prison for sexually assaulting her. He has also been issued a 4-year restraining order from the victim and has been ordered to pay £6,000 in compensation. 6,000 euro, my fault. On top of this, the producers of Big Brother Spain Zeppelin Television will have to pay Prado 1,000 euro for the distress caused to her by the filming of the scene. The images were never aired and Lopez was expelled from the show immediately after. Prado herself also left the show without being able to speak to him. Their relationship started while filming the television show. According to the court, the attack took place on the 4th of November during a live broadcast of a party held in the early hours of the morning. Prado became intoxicated and passed out in her bed. It was then that Jose Maria took off his pants and began to make sexual movements under the duvet. Knowing that Carlota Prado was under the effects of alcohol stupor that would later lead to her unconsciousness, began to perform sexual movements under the duvet, although the victim weakly told him, "I can't." This happens despite Prado expressing her refusal in different ways, the court heard. Carlota Prado was used by the defendant as a sexual object without the slightest shadow of consent, consequently of freedom on her part in everything that happened, the ruling added. Lopez said he didn't realize that Prado was unconscious. The production company Zeppelin issued a statement after the ruling was made public to show that the respect for their sentence issued in the criminal proceedings. Zeppelin also recalls that they were the ones who brought the prosecuted facts to the attention of the authorities. On Monday, Moscow court jailed Kremlin critic Vladimir Kara-Murza, who holds Russian and British passports. For 25 years after convicting him of treason in a trial he and the West said politically motivated, it was the harshest sentence of its kind since Russia invaded the Ukraine. For years, Kara-Murza, who's 41 years old, successfully lobbied Western governments to impose sanctions on Russia and individual Russians for purported human rights violations. He also condemned what Moscow calls its special military operation in the Ukraine. The ambassadors of Britain, the US and Canada made a joint appearance in the front of the cameras on the steps of Moscow court after his verdict to condemn the ruling and demand his release. British Ambassador Deborah Bronnett delivered her remarks in Russian so that Russian language TV channels could potentially broadcast them. Traitors who are applauded in the West will get what they deserve. Russia's foreign ministry said the diplomat's behavior was unacceptable. The private charter flight to return fugitive couple Thabo Bester and Nandi Phamukudumana to South Africa cost the taxpayer 1.4 million rand. Home Affairs Minister Aaron Motsoaledi made the revelation in Parliament, saying that he wanted to dispel the public notion that the pair was repatriated from Tanzania in the lap of luxury. Motsoaledi said that this was the most practical option, which also met with the deportation requirements of Tanzanian authorities. Minister Motsoaledi said that 14 officials had to travel to the Tanzanian border with Kenya to repatriate murderer and rapist Thabo Bester and his partner Nandi Phamukudumana. Motsoaledi also said that it would have been careless for them to take too long to transport fugitives on commercial transport. He said the conditions set by Tanzanian authorities for handing over the couple also had to be respected. They opted on deportation, not extradition or any other system. And when a person is deported to your country, they are handed only to immigration officials of that country, not any other authorities. And Tanzanians said that they are not prepared to hand over Thabo Bester to police. Motsoaledi said that the cost of the flight would be split 3 ways with the Department of Correctional Services and the police. The Special Investigating Unit is trying to recover 5.1 billion rand from thousands of students who did not qualify for the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, also known as NSFAS. The SIU said that there were more than 40,000 students who did not qualify for NSFAS between 2017 and now, but were given funding. The investigation has stretched to 76 institutions across the country. Head of the SIU, Advocate Andy Mutibi, told members of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts that Tuesday they would seek a leave and leave no stone unturned in the investigations. He said their work was to ensure that the institutions received back what was due to them. The SIU Chief National Investigating Officer Leonard Legeto said in Gauteng that there were 17,000 students who did not qualify for the NSFAS and received 1.9 billion rand. Gauteng was followed by the Western Cape and then KZN. And this list goes on and on and on. However, it's all about understanding the probe that the SIU wants to get done, and also the reparation of all those monies which 40,000 people unduly benefited from the National Student Financial Aid Scheme. Capitec CEO Gerrie Fourie said the increase in credit impairments is due mainly to deteriorating economy and the impact on higher inflation rates. South Africa's largest bank by customer numbers, Capitec, now boasts more than 20 million clients and is making strides with its Capitec Connect offering. But a tough economic environment has seen credit impairments soar by 80% to 6.3 billion. Chief Executive Gerrie Fourie says the increase in the credit impairments is mainly due to the deteriorating economy and the impact of the higher inflation on clients. Net loans and advances grew by 17,000 to 78.2 billion, while total deposits and the wholesale funding stood at 146.5 billion rand per annum.
We are extraterrestrial. We are KNR.